It's the 5th year that the revamped Tour of Britain has visited Stoke-on-Trent, always one of the most popular stages for spectators as they line the climbs throughout this stage. The day's final categorised climb up Gun Hill and the ascent up Biddulph Moor should provide an arduous selection process for the day's winner. Since the 17th century, this region has been a centre point for the industrial manufacture of pottery, leading to the city and the larger area becoming affectionately known as the Potteries. For the 5th consecutive year, the Tour of Britain starts and finishes in the city. This year there's a new-look route that includes demanding climbs and windswept moorland. Spectator favourite Gun Hill remains part of the course, with a new, slightly flatter finish that could provide an exciting sprint to the line.
We are now over halfway through this year's Tour of Britain here on stage 5. With over 2,000 metres of climbing, this is going to be another hard day in the saddle. Personally speaking, I'd say this is the hardest climb of the stage. With the elite group of 20 already having been formed at this point last year, the only real action came when Jonathan Tiernan-Locke, now of Endura, launched himself off the front to take maximum points at the King of the Mountains. This year though, the summit comes at 30 kilometres from the finish, so this could provide the perfect launching pad for the strongest riders to make their attacks.
Well, Matt, it's a perennial favourite, isn't it, Stoke to Stoke on the Tour of Britain. What are the characteristics of this stage?
Well, today's stage starts off a little bit flat and then after about 30 to 40 miles goes into the Staffordshire moorlands and the border of the Peak Districts. Extremely up and down, twisty, turny, gets very high up midway through the race, and last year we saw the race blow to pieces in the crosswinds rather than on the climbs. The big feature today is going to be Gun Hill, and there's no doubt there's going to be thousands of people there today. Could be decisive, but I think then there's about 25 miles to go from that point. Again, very, very undulating until we get onto the outskirts of the Potteries, but I think it will probably come back together for a bunch sprint today. Okay, and the finish traditionally has been this steep uphill ramp into Hanley, but it's been slightly reconfigured, hasn't it? Yeah, it still reaches the same elevation, but it's not quite as steep, and we're going to have a far wider finish. So hopefully it'll be a bit more of a spectacle for the spectators there today. Okay, one for Mark Cavendish then? Is he going to win? Yes, I think he is. Let's find out, shall we? Rob Hales and Hugh Porter are your commentators.
Stage 5 of the Tour of Britain will take the riders from Trentham Gardens through to Hanley in Stoke-on-Trent. A distance of 147 kilometres and one of the toughest stages. They've always proved to be real counters in the history of this race. Bradley Wiggins, well, just rolling away at the front there with Mark Cavendish in the IG Markets gold jersey. Ahead of them, well, a tough test. Will Cavendish be able to keep the lead?
Extremely difficult stage we've got here in Stoke. Bradley Wiggins there, riding alongside his team leader, Mark Cavendish, in that IG gold jersey.
The flags are out in support of Mark Cavendish. Christian House, leader in the King of the Mountains, and right alongside him, Pete Williams, leader in the Yodel Sprint competition. Well, here's a shot of the tail of the peloton. Already the speed is very high, as you can see. Oh, there's a crash! Now, who's gone? Oh, several riders have hit the deck, and that's one of the members of the Liquigas team. That's Borghini. Yeah,
Borghini from Liquigas down, and Brett Lancaster there also on the floor, facing backwards actually. Several riders gone down. Borghini looks in all sorts of trouble.
And also Brett Lancaster, the Australian. Well, look at that, the tyre absolutely destroyed. This is the rider from Orica GreenEDGE, Brett Lancaster, and it looks as though he's in serious trouble, and Borghini.
Yeah, both these riders in no hurry to get back up.
Well, look at this here, Cavendish getting some attention to his shoe.
Yeah, obviously a buckle broken there, and a mechanic just putting some insulating tape on there just to keep his foot in that shoe nice and securely.
Meanwhile, the boss of the peloton, Bradley Wiggins, says, "Thank you very much, boys. Cav's back. Now let's start racing." Well, they're in the streets of Stone, 7 kilometres covered, and how strange to see the whole peloton together. Normally there's a break. And it is 1 kilometre to go, so look for the riders that are figuring here in this competition. Remember, Peter Williams of Node 4 Giordano is leading with 27 points. He's got a handsome margin, but the long, thin, sinuous line is there, which tells me that the speed really is on at the front.
Yep, these riders all trying to line up and set themselves up for this. Not only the points on the line, but also 3, 2 and 1 seconds for the first 3 places.
And how vital are they going to be? Pete Williams is down there in 3rd place. There he is, taking the lead out off the 2 riders from Sky.